On this episode of One Life Gives You Lemons, I'm going to show you how I address the transmission tunnel problem. In hindsight, I should have just cut it out and laid a piece of sheet metal down, or you can just leave it there altogether. It doesn't hurt anything there. Wife's texting me. Something needs fixing. But you could have just left it there. I just wanted the extra storage room. I got plans for that little 2-inch space.
First thing I did is decide to get rid of the bracket that mounted the back seat. I just cut it down with a Sawzall.
So my thought is to cut a slice down the transmission tunnel and pound it flat. But I don't know if that's going to work. It's pretty tough, so I'm going to test that theory. Worst case scenario, I just cut it out and put a piece of sheet metal in. Oh yeah, it looks pretty pliable. I think we're going to do that. And this is the transmission tunnel right here that I pounded flat, or as flat-ish. It's okay, but what I did is I just ran a bunch of bolts and screws in here to kind of cover it, to hold it together, and I just bondoed through the bottom.
I went underneath and filled all the holes and seams with Bondo, and I kind of just sanded it down kind of smooth and just spray painted it. It doesn't look too bad. It's, you know, the undercoating's kind of rough anyhow, but you know, if you're looking at the bottom of the trailer, then I'm doing some really bad driving.
Tough American welds. Oh man, I just created 4 holes. Some bitch. Problem I'm having is this double seam here for where the transmission shifter went through. I gotta kind of pop the beads, see tack welds on that. So much cutting and grinding on this thing. There we go. Cut your car in half, they said. It'll be fun, they said. You'll have a good time. Yeah, that's beefy.
The front floor was left kind of flimsy, so I had the great idea of sandwiching it in between 2 pieces of angle iron. I used an old bed frame as angle iron, bolted it to the floor, and that gave me a great mounting surface for my wood ribs. Ribs.
I'm going to show you how I made the tongue. Unfortunately, I made a lot of awesome footage of me trying to tack weld some box tubing to make a tongue. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, that footage got lost somewhere. I don't know where the heck it is. It's on a hard drive somewhere. I'll find it 10 years from now. But anyhow, just go on without it.
To pull the trailer, I figured the tongue would have to be inside the frame rails. And they're in the frame rails about 2 foot. Do not think about using the box made by the rocker panel. That steel is kind of flimsy. But the frame rail channel is pretty solid, and I just used a couple of 1/2-inch bolts through that.
Alright, so here's where I'm at right now. Got some 2x2 1/8-inch stock crammed about 3 feet into the rails, inside the frame rails. This is sitting all the way back to where the hump goes up. I don't know how. I think I'm going to bolt this through the floor. But it's my tongue. I want it 44 inches long. How I come up with 44, this is how I came up with it. These I'm going to bend to meet here. If I measured right, it's 30 inches. It's going to come into about here. So I'm going to put a little notch in the rail here. And just pound it over to match, and then I'll have to cut the angle there. I have to figure out a way to figure out the angle. I need some type of protractor or something. I should have paid attention in 8th grade math, but I would never use that math again in my life. So I said, and here I am. So this is about all I got time for today. Tomorrow I'll see if I can bend it, and then I'm going to tack it all in place. And because my weld sucks, I wouldn't drive down the road with anything I welded. A neighbor of mine welds, so I'm taking to him and throw him a couple of dollars in his 12-pack and see if he could do a good job. If not, I'll have to take it to a fabrication shop, but it shouldn't cost that much if I did all the hard work for him. Anyhow, 3x2 steel would have been perfect for it, but they didn't have any. Morris Scrapyard in Kings Mountain really hooked me up good price on some 2x2 that they had. I figured it would work. I looked at my pop-up camper, and it's made out of 2x2 and angle iron. It's made out of, it's really wimpier than this. It's a little bit lighter, but I don't think this is going to be too much heavier than what it is. I'm going to do a lot of foam work on the inside, foam and paint. So we'll see. All right, so where did I come up with the 44-inch tongue length? Our tried and true old Coleman pop-up camper, which is now a wood storage bin. Tongue on this is 44, and it hauled pretty good. I could turn it pretty good. The big thing, had my thumb in the way. The big thing about the tongue length is I just want enough room to make a tight turn if I had to, because I do some pretty funky driving sometimes. My tongue is slid into the frame rail, and then I just drove 2 bolts into here. My frame's about 2.5 feet into the. Will you get out of the way? Stay tuned for the next episode where I lose a finger. Acting.